There was a White House roundtable yesterday on Antifa, and Trump wanted to hear from all of the independent journalists who have seen firsthand the madness that is Antifa. And one of the journalists, his name is Jonathan Cho. He is a journalist and a media professional. He works as a senior fellow with the Discovery Institute Center on Wealth and Poverty. He was one of the journalists asked to participate yesterday, and he made a video on the way in. Check this out.
It's been a whirlwind 48 hours. Just the other day, I was in Portland, Oregon, covering an Antifa direct action.
Smoke is now being deployed.
Now I'm in Washington, D.C., invited alongside a group of other independent journalists to attend an Antifa roundtable with President Trump. We're going to brief him about how these domestic terrorists work and, of course, share our own personal experiences covering these nut jobs on the front lines. Looking back at the past 5 years, getting doxxed with my address on buildings, being targeted by Antifa with violence, I guess it was all worth it, because this very moment could change the trajectory of how the U.S. government, how the federal authorities start to target and go after these folks to wipe them out once and for all.
Remember when Penguin Man, who's the guy that looks like a penguin? Who's the congressman that looks like a penguin, or senator? What's his name? You guys know who I'm talking about? Short guy that like waddles. What's his name? He said Antifa didn't exist.
Nadler? Is it
Nadler? Yes. Nadler. Yeah. You guys knew who I was talking about when I said penguin. Yeah. You knew exactly what I was talking about.
I could picture him immediately.
Yeah. Right. He said, "Oh, Antifa doesn't exist." Like, are you kidding me? I mean, at least this administration is facing these, because they're freaking terrorists. It's a terrorist organization is what they are. They're terrorizing people. And so I'm so glad to see that President Trump is actually facing this head on, because these lunatics have been around forever. I had no idea how long they've been in existence. And I think somebody said they've been around since like the 40s in some capacity. I was like, what? I had no idea. So that was crazy. And then just people went around and they talked about their experiences with Antifa. Very eye-opening. Trump had press there, and we'll get to that. They talked about how the press has just been complicit in all of this and awful, and he railed on them. Beautiful. I have a beautiful clip with that. But Brandi Kruse, she's a Seattle journalist. She was actually a liberal, and I'm pretty sure that dealing with Antifa turned her. This is her speaking.
I was a mainstream reporter in Seattle for 10 years. I was a TV reporter on the streets doing my job, and I was still assaulted by Antifa. So it's not about being conservative. It's about people who go there and show what they're doing. And when I saw, after all those years, that the media wouldn't be honest about what was happening, that Democratic politicians wouldn't be honest about what was happening, I thought, well, gosh, if they're not being honest about that, maybe they're not being honest about President Trump either. And it opened my mind to just looking at things for what they were. And now I find you quite funny, actually. It's like I said, I'm much happier about it. But, for me, again, I could not care any less the stories that they go to print. This is what I care about. We have 3.5 years. Nothing is guaranteed, although I think if Democrats keep it up, we'll probably have Republican presidents for the next 3 decades. But nothing is guaranteed, and so what I want to see over the next 3.5 years is a full court press to dismantle Antifa once and for all in a meaningful way. I know, Andy, we talked before this about some ideas. That's really what we want to. I don't care what the media says. I don't care what Democrats say. They will never wake up to this fact. So we want the federal government to take as many of these cases as possible, look at the interstate travel between Portland and Seattle when it comes to these people who are committing violent acts, and hopefully in 3.5 years, they will be a shell of them.
Those are some of my favorite conservatives, or the ones who have turned, the ones who were once liberals and they were pretty jaded, and then they came to the right side, because we've seen them.
Like born again conservatives.
They're born again conservatives because they've been on the other side and they've gone through the transition. It's kind of like, somebody who just had a really terrible life or upbringing, and then they were not a person of faith. And then they became a born again Christian. Like to me, they're like the best kind of Christian, because they get it. And then they see everything. It's like they're omnipotent. They can really see both sides. I really love those kind of conservatives. So when I saw that, I was like, I dig that,
Yeah, she's amazing. But I will say, I think she thinks still kind of idealistically that Democrats just haven't noticed how bad this is. And I feel pretty cynical about it. I feel like Democrats know exactly how bad Antifa is, but they like it. They like that Antifa will do all of the dirty work for them, all of the intimidation and the violence and the silencing of conservatives, that they've become like the army for the radical left. And I
Yes.
think a lot of Democrats are thinking, like, I don't want to get rid of them. They're doing all the hard stuff. I
I
can keep my
agree.
hands clean over here and they can do all of that. So I think it's not that they don't realize. I think they absolutely know who Antifa is and they want them there
That's such a
because of
fantastic,
that.
that's such a great point, Corinne. And I saw two gentlemen talking yesterday. I honestly don't remember who it was because I was looking at so much stuff yesterday, but they were talking about a very similar point where a lot of liberals and Democrats are online, like a lot of pundits. They'll say awful things and they'll instigate and they'll try to initiate like stuff that is violent. And they won't say that they want people to get hurt, but they want other people to do the hurting and the killing. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and they'll
Exactly.
they'll try to rile people up, especially when it comes to like this fascism and this Nazi bullshit, you know? They'll
Mhm.
do it so a crazy person out there in the masses will do their bidding and they don't have to do it. You know what I mean? So they're
Mhm.
delighted to say the things that are awful and they're happy to say it so other people will go out there and carry out what they're saying, and so that's why they don't lower the temperature, is because
Mhm.
these people want it to happen. Kind of like what you're
Yep.
saying.
And
This
they're
is
so worried that we'll take the crazy people off the streets, and then what? Who's going to listen to their tweets? Who's going to act on what they actually want to happen?
exactly. Totally. God, you're so right. You're so right. Healthy Cell, love Healthy Cell. Vegan Essentials, their multi is now named Daily Multi and Iron and Omega-3. I know it's a mouthful, but this change was so people know that it's not just for vegans, because it totally is not for vegans. In fact, this is what my daughter takes. She's a teenager, 15. She's an athlete. She works out about 4 or 5 hours a day and she eats a lot. But I just want to know that she's getting all the immunity supports that she needs and support for her brain and her bones and development, all of it. So she takes the Daily Multi and Iron and Omega-3 and it delivers everything that she needs. I take the immune support and the hair, skin, and nails every day. We have quite the Healthy Cell stock in our house and we love their stuff so much. But the Daily Multi Plus Iron and Omega-3 is still the same formula, the same taste, nutrition, all the same stuff, and the vegan certifications remain unchanged. They just wanted to make sure that people know that it's not just for vegans. It's actually a really, really good multi. And so we're all big meat eaters in our house. We're not vegans at all, but she loves it. It's been great for her. And if you're looking for a daily multi that does everything, try it. The Daily Multi and Iron and Omega-3. Go to healthycell.com/chicks and get 20% off your first order with promo code chicks. It is a really great daily multi, whether you're a vegan or a meat eater or whatever. That's healthycell.com/chicks, promo code chicks. And this is Katie Daviscourt, who was talking with a black eye, and she was punched in the face by Antifa the same day that Nick Sorter was arrested. What's interesting is that the guys who punched her were not arrested. And Democrats are saying that she's faking it. Like some of these Democrats are like, she's just faking the black eye. She's faking. Oh my God, you cannot make this up. Here's Katie Daviscourt.
I work for the Post Millennial alongside Andy No and Jack Posobiec. I have been infiltrating Antifa cells in Seattle and Portland for the past decade. I know their inner workings, and Antifa uses extreme political violence to crush the civil rights of their political enemies and believes that violence is justified by any means necessary. But today, I want to focus on what is happening in Portland at the ICE facility. I've been covering this for the past 4 months, and this is a call out to corporate media who has completely ignored this story or has falsely reported on it. This is nothing short other than a sustained attack on the United States, which is being supported by Democratic elected officials. The Portland Police Bureau has completely abandoned several blocks outside the ICE facility, giving away their jurisdiction to a terrorist group who has spent the past 4 months harassing, assaulting, and intimidating anyone they perceive to be against their cause. Not only have federal agents been relentlessly assaulted for more than 100 consecutive days, black-clad anarchist militants concealing their identities behind black facial coverings have been assaulting reporters just for trying to cover their crimes. Today, I am sitting here with a black eye and a concussion after being violently hit in the face with a metal pole while reporting outside the ICE facility just this past week. After the attack, I immediately went to three Portland police officers who refused to detain the suspect. I took the time to chase down the suspect in the streets, had her held for 35 minutes.
You go, girl.
I was waiting for Portland police to come, and they never came.
God, and the police never came. Like, what does that tell you?
Yeah,
It's unreal.
Totally. They have no responsibility for the violence. They will not take any responsibility. I think I understand that some of the police don't want to get involved because it is so violent and they're scared, but it's like, I don't know if you should be a police
That's
officer.
their job. That's
like-
their literal job, is to go into danger. Like, if they don't want to go into danger, maybe find somebody else to do your damn job. I mean, that's why do Democrats want lawlessness so much? It's the number one job of government to keep the citizens safe. They're not doing that. They're failing, which is why Trump is stepping in. This is why it's just so maddening to me that people are like, oh, Trump is being mean. It's autocracy. He's a dictator. Okay. Did you see what's happening here? I mean, when the police don't come when you're in trouble, that's a problem. That's a big problem. They're not doing their job in Portland. They're not doing their job in Chicago. There are other cities across the country where they're not doing their job. We need to ask the question, why? And if they're not doing it, then yeah, they need to step in, because that's lawlessness. And that's the number one job of the government, is to keep us safe.
Yep.
Yeah. I love this so much too. It's a major truth bomb in the next clip, because they were saying the reason why Antifa is doing what they're doing is because of the media. Basically, they're starting to talk about the media a little bit. Check this out.
Doing it. What are they gaining other than they're obviously paid? They're paid a lot of money. Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, if I can answer that question, the reason why they're doing it is because the same media that's sitting in this room with us has declared all of us at this table Nazis and fascists, and they've been doing this for years. This is why Antifa feels emboldened to attack us. Now, almost every single person at this table has been threatened with a steel bat. We've been assaulted, we've been harassed, we've been threatened, and that is in huge part due to the media. So my message right now is for you guys, because 2 years ago back in 2020, by the way, I was censored for my reporting on Antifa here in Washington, D.C. You were talking about how safe it is now, Mr. President. It wasn't so safe back then. Back in 2020, I watched as a father was being mobbed and surrounded by Antifa members as his terrified, crying children looked on and the police here did nothing. Gosh. I watched as a woman had her hair violently ripped out of her skull simply for waving an American flag on the streets of Washington, D.C. And by the way, if you guys try to go and find any of this footage, you won't find any of it because Twitter deleted all of it because our president shared my reporting and they deleted my entire account immediately after. So now, if you want to know what happened in 2020, all you're going to see is the media headlines that said that it was fiery but mostly peaceful. Thanks for that one, CNN.
Yeah. Okay. So they deleted her account. Don't they call that censorship? Isn't that what they accused Trump of when it comes to Jimmy Kimmel? But wait, I thought we were doing that, but they weren't doing it. That's weird. So weird.
I'm glad that we're talking about this again, because it's been a while. Elon bought Twitter, where I feel like we're pretty comfortable now having this like safe space for free speech.
Yes.
But 2020 was terrible. I remember, I got my YouTube banned and Twitter shadow banned, but those reporters who were in the field getting these stories about the BLM violence at the deleted accounts, deleted videos, footage that we'll never get back. They actually just try to wipe it off the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And we pretend now that it didn't happen because now we fixed it.
Totally.
But it happened.
Yep. It totally did. So many conservatives were either suppressed or shut down completely. Mock and I are always just amazed that we're still doing what we're doing. Because
We survived.
we survived. Like we stayed above water, like barely. Like we were like underwater. We were like the ducks. You know what I mean? We were just like, let's just try to like survive this, and we did. By the grace of God, we survived because so many people around us did not. And so when I hear people on the left complain about censorship, I'm like, you can suck it.